Fast Lawyer VR Reviews. For sexy VR reviews, hit the subscribe button. Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're doing a full review for Alvo VR, a game that was released on the MetaQuest store March 17th, 2022. It officially supports both the Quest 2 and the MetaQuest Pro. It normally retails for $14.99. It's currently on a Black Friday sale, 40% off. I bought it at that sale price. Alvo was developed by developer Martin Paul Incorporated. Alvo is a competitive multiplayer PvP FPS that also includes a zombies mode. This game is what I would refer to as a Call of Duty lite VR game. It's not Call of Duty in VR. It doesn't have all the guns, all the perks. It doesn't have all the attachments. It just doesn't have all the things that are available in a normal Call of Duty game. But if you think of this like a Call of Duty lite mode for VR, then I think you'll know exactly what Alvo has to offer. And as a Call of Duty lite game for VR, it works surprisingly well. Keep in mind, this is budget priced. It's only normally priced at $15, and right now you can get it for $9. So as long as you don't have your expectations that this is going to be Call of Duty in VR, but instead think this is a light mode of Call of Duty. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but this is a very basic version of Call of Duty that works surprisingly very well in VR. You have pretty much all the basic stuff in Call of Duty. You have the perks, you have the gun unlocks, you have the attachments, you have the kill streaks, and it's a very fun game. Obviously here the visuals are made for PSVR originally, and it's translated well for the Quest 2. So as long as you keep in mind, these are Quest graphics, and you're not expecting Half-Life Alyx PCVR level quality graphics, then I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how well the graphics look for a Quest and PSVR game. Obviously here the textures aren't the highest quality textures, not the highest resolution looking game either, but it works overall. It still looks nice enough. I would say this is probably like Xbox 360 era level graphics, or maybe PS2 level graphics, but it still looks good enough. Plus the immersion from VR, from holding the weapon in your hand and just having to look all around, keep an eye on your six, just makes the game a lot more immersive in VR, a lot more fun for me. Graphics are not everything, and in VR, just a lot of the gameplay here works very well. Holding the weapon in your hand, actually aiming it yourself, is something that a gamepad or mouse and keyboard just can never replicate. So that's why VR is a lot better than pancake gaming, where obviously we'd like to have higher quality graphics, and PC VR does have some of them. But for a Quest game, PSVR game, this looks good enough, and the gameplay here is excellent. It's arcade fun, it's Call of Duty lite, and I had a blast playing this game. Now you do have, the classic modes, Team Deathmatch, TDM, you have Conquest, you have Search and Destroy, you have Free-for-alls, and you also have a Zombies mode where you can play with your friends co-op. So it has all the classic online multiplayer PvP game modes that you'd probably expect from a Call of Duty lite game. And they're all fun. Obviously TDM is probably going to be the most popular. Each time that I played this game, that seemed to be where the most players were at, along with the free-for-all. And even at odd times when I joined this game and I went up against a bunch of bots, usually players would eventually join my match, even if it was a game or a match or two before it was a full player lobby. So even when I started off with just playing against bots, eventually it went against all players. So there is a very active player base here. Again, just depending on the day and the time that you're on. But I always found players, like I said, even if I originally joined with just bots, eventually players would slowly start coming into my match. And so I always had fun playing this game. And not just for TDM, but also for the free-for-all. This game is divided between the team modes and the free-for-all, which is separate. I kind of don't like that. I kind of wish they were all in the same queue. You know, I wish there was just a quick match where they were all just together versus having to choose between either free-for-all or the team modes. But I guess it kind of makes sense in another way. There might be people who prefer that, but me personally, I would have just preferred a quick match mode where they just cycle through all those modes versus keeping the free-for-all separate from the team modes. I did enjoy all the game modes, but I have to say that Zombies wasn't my favorite. After having played, you know, Call of Duty Zombies, and that's usually one of my favorite modes, the version here was just a little too basic, with not enough variety, not enough unlocks of map areas. You know, you just kind of recycle the maps from the free-for-all or the team modes and make it into a zombie mode, which when you do that, it's just not going to work, because for zombies you need parts of the map that are unlocked. You need a bigger map than you would have in the team deathmatch or the free-for-alls, and so for that reason it just really doesn't work. Plus there just wasn't really enough zombie variety. The zombie AI wasn't the best. And I guess if I do have a criticism of this game, it's just that the bot AI and the zombie AI were pretty brain dead, and it's just not a whole lot of fun to go against bots. But like I said, even when I went against just bots, eventually players would join the match, and after the end of one match or two, it'd be a full player lobby, and it was back to having fun again. And this is really where the game shines. And surprisingly, most of the player population is actually very cordial. It's probably one of the friendliest lobbies for this type of game. And I did join some lobbies where players weren't so nice, but I would say the vast majority of the players were cordial and, you know, just talking about the game, which made it a pleasant experience. Most of the matches were also pretty evenly matched. You know, I did join some lobbies where the other team was just full of players who have put too many hours into this game, and they were all grouped up and had all the unlocks, and they quickly killed us. But for the most part, most of the lobbies were pretty evenly matched, so most of the matches were very fun to play. This is pure Call of Duty arcade action. You do have full locomotion, smooth and snap turning available, along with several comfort options. You can play this game comfortably seated, but you'll probably want to stand so you can quickly turn around. But like I said, there is smooth and snap turning available. You can choose the angle of your turn or the speed of your turn. I do have the smooth turning here set to maximum, and I had no troubles at all as far as looking all around, but you're always just going to be faster if you play standing and you can quickly rotate around. But I was playing seated and I was doing well, so it really is not a big deal if you play seated. You'll be at a slight disadvantage, but nothing too bad. Now, for the most part, you are one-handing one-handed weapons and two-handing the two-handed weapons automatically. The reloads here are quite a mix depending on your settings. You can choose to reload just by pushing a button, and obviously if you want the best competitive advantage, you'll want to turn that on, because obviously you don't want to be fumbling around with the reload when you're in the thick of the action. But you can also, for some weapons, take the clip off manually, and you can also lower your hands for some weapons in order to reload them. When you choose to go guns akimbo, and you can do it with perks with your primary weapons, but usually it'll be with submachine guns or pistols, you'll lower your weapons and it'll reload then once you lower them. Grenades are a button push as well, and you'll see the direction of travel for the grenade, and you can then change the trajectory by moving around your motion controller, and then you just release to throw the grenade. So you're not actually physically throwing the grenade, it is by button push. You can physically crouch in this game, but you can also use a button push, and you'll probably want to do that versus doing a physical crouch. And there's also a button to jump, and yes, you can dolphin dive in this game, so you can jump, run, slide down, and that's one way to avoid taking bullet damage. But for the most part though, you'll just want to use those dives for taking corners and such, and taking some enemies off guard. I only experienced one major bug during my playtime with this game, and that is, for whatever reason, I was unable to two-hand my weapon correctly, and it was basically pointing the wrong direction. However, after I died about 2 or 3 times with this bug, the gun auto-corrected, and then I was able to play the rest of the game normally. And that only happened once during my whole playtime with this game, which I want to estimate was about 8 hours playing this game. And I had a blast playing this game. This is pure Call of Duty arcade action. It's quick. Like I said, a lot of the lobbies were a lot of fun. I was usually grouped up with other players that just wanted to have fun versus the normal drama that involves some multiplayer games. And Alvo just has a nice community. A lot of the players are PSVR players. I would say at least half of the player population is PSVR. My main criticism of this game is the weapon unbalanced. So that is the one thing that really keeps this game from being great, because you'll go up against lobbies with players that have everything unlocked. You know, they have all the perks, they have all the weapons, they have all the attachments, and so you'll go up against them, and when you're starting off, you're not going to have any perks. So you're going to have 0 perk unlocks. They're going to have 2 different perks, and some of those perks are very overpowered. Some of those weapons are overpowered. You'll see other players just running and gunning, and their time to kill you is a lot shorter than it is for your time to kill them. So the weapon unbalanced just makes it a lot harder for newer players to go against more experienced players. Now, when you're a new player, you do have the option of only matching up with newer players, but even when you select the option to go ahead and match up with lower ranked players, you'll still get these lobbies that are just full of the players with level 100s that have everything unlocked, and you'll be at a big disadvantage going against them. The weapons not being very balanced, the perks not being very balanced, just make this a lot bigger of a deal than it would normally be for other types of games. And you know, they'll get their kill streaks, you know, they'll get the dogs, so it can be a frustrating experience at times playing this game. But like I said, for the most part, I was matched up with even skilled players, and for the most part I was having a blast playing this game. So I do strongly recommend Alvo. I think it's a very solid Call of Duty Lite version for VR, and if I have to rate it, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Like I said, the graphics aren't the best. It doesn't have all the modes that you would expect, and the bot AI is really not good. Along, like what I said, the weapons are just a tad bit not balanced well enough. But if you can look past those issues, there's a lot of fun to be had. It is somewhat of a slow grind to unlock everything, but that's also part of the fun. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. This has been my review for Alvo VR. I do strongly recommend it. I had a blast. And like I said, I do give it a 7 out of 10, which is actually a pretty high score from me. I'm Fast Lawyer. If you enjoyed my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.
Oh, there's a guy with a shotgun camping our staircase.
Oh, I got a trophy.
Can you tell me
somehow.
where so I can give him a bullet?
Right there behind you.
Where?
I'll show you where he's camping. If you guys go to
He's right
one of the
here.
staircases,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
right
oh,
here,
wow.
and we don't...
Yeah, get him.
Oh, watch out. Where's he?
Whoa.
Wait.
Down there.
Get him there. I'll get him here.
Innate, bro. Innate's too good.
He's above. I saw him. Here he is.
God damn it. Reloads are so clunky.
Okay, got him.
Nice.
But they got me.
This is our last chance to do something good.
We just throw a random grenade.
The only thing we can do is see.
Well, it's over. Well played, guys.
Heck again.
Really
Good
well
game.
played.